Welcome to early game assassin build with dual daggers and archery. In this video I'll show you how to play an assassin in the early game. There is a possibility to do it, but you're gonna have to defeat a certain bounty in order to get the gear that we need. I usually don't like using mages, so this build is strictly for no magic at all, meaning we are using only melee weapons and bow. Specific goal for this build is to be effective at range, meaning to do as much sneak attack damage as possible with the bow and then finish off the business with dual daggers, or sneak up and attack the enemy with dual daggers for increased sneak damage. Stealth in this game is variable and you can't really rely on it 100% because enemies will clearly see you, especially during the day. So bow is necessary, for the early game at least, to be a proper assassin, meaning to kill from the shadows. So let's get started with the build, you sneaky bastards. In the first slot for weapons I have Parrying Dagger and Wolf's Fang. Parrying Dagger is really useful because of the increased parry window. It also stacks with the skill tree's increase in parry window timing, so that can really make fights a lot easier. Another option for a dagger is Smuggler's Dagger. It's gonna give you some gold after killing enemies, which can be good to boost your economy a little bit. Bow can be whichever one you like. I like to use Spiteful Arch because it gives blind upon a successful sneak attack. Blind can make enemies attack each other, which is a very useful thing at times, and also there's an upgrade that allows us to have 100% critical hit chance on blind opponents. However, blind is a short window only, but upon upgrading this bow further and further, blind status effect that we put with Spiteful Arc is going to have increased the duration. At this point I have it at 7 seconds and it started with 4.5, something like that, 4 or 5, I don't know exactly. Try to craft iron arrows, they are easy to craft, and at this point they do most damage except for the special elemental arrows. Spiteful Arc can be obtained at this exact location. There's going to be a tower guarded by 2 enemies. Go inside, kill the enemies or sneak around, whatever you want to do. Climb up the tower and pick up the bow from one of the chests. Then we have the third set of arms, Shadow Blade combination with Wolf Fang. This gives us highest possible sneak attack damage during the early game with the melee weapons. I usually use this slot just to do the sneak attack damage, and then switch to the first slot where we have 2 daggers. But you can also play with Shadow Blade and Wolf's Fang, there's nothing wrong with that. If you don't know where the Shadow Blade can be obtained, it's actually in the very early game before even getting to the castle. Go to this exact location and climb up the scaffolding. However, you're going to have to defeat a tough bounty, so I would suggest leveling up at least a couple of levels before attempting to do it. Also use consumables and everything that you have at your disposal to defeat the enemy. Now we go to the armor. Revenant's Cowl is an optional thing that I use for this build. Recipe for Revenant's Cowl can be found in Forgotten Cemetery Crypt. Afterwards you have to craft it. Or you can use Assassin's Cowl or Mask or whatever it is. Assassin set and both Wolf's Fangs can be found at this exact location. You're going to have to defeat another bounty to get these weapons and the full Assassin set. Assassin set increases sneak attack damage, which is perfect for this style of play with dual daggers and bow. Gloves can be either parrying gauntlets that enhance the parrying window further, or Assassin's gloves that increase the sneak attack further. Amulets either Calm's Finger Necklace, which is also a bounty drop, or Hunter's Amulet. This is fantastic if you can do headshots properly with bow. Cloak I went with is the Camouflage Net, but this is optional. Go for whatever you want here. In one of the ring slots we can go for something like Perilous Orb or the perfect ring for a juggler, whatever the hell you want, as long as the second ring is a ring of toughness to increase encumbrance to get to that light status, which is really good for this type of a build. When it comes to attributes, it depends what kind of a bow you are going for. Bows have different requirements. In my case, for Spiteful Arc, I went with Dexterity and Perception as my main attributes. This is also best for Assassin type builds. Strength is my third attribute, but really you can opt for Endurance, Strength, whatever you wish, or balance it all out, or increase Dexterity and Perception further. As I said, it depends on the bow that you are planning to use. From the Strength skill tree, some of the one-handed stuff is really good for daggers. Basically bonuses for consecutive hits. From the Dexterity tree, Parry King is also quite good. Attack Speed tree is also fantastic. Must-have upgrades for bow are of course the basic one, Strong Arm of the Bowmaster, and the Marksman, which increases damage the further you are from the target. This helps with increasing the bow sneak attack damage a lot. Deadly Aim as well, fantastic upgrade that you should definitely get. Then we go to the Perception tree. Dagger upgrades all are fantastic. Choose your own style here for what you want to go first, but basically everything is fantastic. Backstab bonuses are really good. Backstabs are essentially hitting enemies in the back. So it's different than sneak attack, because sneak attack is hitting an enemy from stealth. From the stealth tree, Cheater's Gambit is the one I was talking about that works well with Spiteful Arc bow. But it's an optional thing, you really don't have to go for it. Cheater's Gambit upgrade works much better with increased levels of Spiteful Arc, because increased levels of that weapon also increase the duration of Blinded. More importantly, get Assassin's Doctrine upgrades as soon as possible, both upgrades. Cheat Death is a double-edged sword. If you're playing some kind of an Iron Man save with only one save where you can't die, then Cheat Death is alright. However, if you're not playing an Iron Man save and you have plenty of save slots and you don't care about dying that much, Cheat Death is not that good, because when you get to Cheat Death and enter the invisibility, enemies are just going to run away from you and heal back up. Now you can chase them and try to kill them, but it's really gimmicky, so I wouldn't make Cheat Death a must upgrade. It's an optional upgrade. Status skill tree also has some interesting upgrades that increase damage on enemies that have status on them. That works really well with Spiteful Arch that puts blinded status on the enemies. So you can play with this skill tree as well. Here is an example on how to play with daggers and bow. In this case, I'm dealing with a high level bounty, the highest level bounty in this region as far as I'm aware. I can't really kill him with one sneak attack, but I can damage him significantly and then just continue chopping until he dies. The most important thing here is to try to backstab the target that we are fighting. In this case, he's really difficult to backstab, but I tried doing it nonetheless. That's one strategy. Another strategy that you should apply is hit and run. Hit the enemy, dash away from them, and then use sprint plus attack. If you use sprint plus attack, then you will lunge at the enemy, hit the bastard twice, because we have two weapons equipped, and then we can dash out again. Rinse and repeat as many times as you like. This is why light encumbrance is important, because it gives us this maneuverability. Anyway, basically that's the build. I'll do some other builds as well and update this one for the end game. I have links to Patreon, Subscribestar merch in the description if you're into that sort of stuff. There's also a link to best early game equipment that can help you tremendously in getting some of the stuff from this video and other stuff that can help with other build types. That's it, thanks for watching and stay tuned for more guides for Tainted Grail.